here with LPT Realty in the Tri-Cities, and it is time for some more real estate talk with Jay. Like I mentioned before, I am completely changing up these videos to give you a little bit more topical information. But first, last week we see that pending sales and more homes coming on the market is pretty strong, but the competition is still pretty low. Our inventory shrunk a little bit. Simply because even though we are bringing more new homes to market, the buyers are gobbling up even faster. But now to the topic at hand. One of the questions I get asked a lot lately is, what do I do to purchase a home if first I have to sell my home? Now, this is not necessarily a new question, but a new concern because of the current market that we're in. Let me explain why. Let's go back in history, 5 years, 10 years. It was pretty normal that if you had to buy a home, you first had to sell your home. So the normal way of doing things is we would put your home on the market, wait for a contract to come on it, and then we would have been looking at homes for you during that time period. And as soon as we got your home under contract, we would find the home that you want, get it under contract, and then have them both close on the same day or at least on concurring days. No big deal. It's just the way it was done for most of my real estate career. It's the way everybody had to do it. Even if you were moving from another area, there might have been a little bit longer time frame between the closing of your previous house and the closing of your new house. But if you were locally moving, either moving up or moving down, we would do dual closings all the time. No big deal. Just normal practice. Well, now fast forward to now where we were in multiple offer scenarios where people, if sellers, if they saw that they had offers that didn't have a home sale contingency, which means it wasn't contingent on the successful sale of your current house, they had other options to choose from that didn't have that. So they would always choose the lower risk best option. And it became a thing where if you had a house to sell before you purchased, it was really, really hard to do. However, there are a few options for those of you that find yourself in that situation currently, or just think that it would be better and easier for you to be able to do something besides list your house, wait a contract, and then sell it. So let's get into those. I'm going to try to pop up some of the information here. So first, we're going to go from maybe easiest or least complex to most complex, or maybe a better way to say it is most out of the box, okay? So first, we can still list your home first. There is this thing called an actual seller contingency. So that means that when buyers submit offers on your house and we go under contract, we can put a seller contingency on that contract, whereas this deal is contingent on you being able to find a home to purchase within a certain time frame, so that if for some reason you can't find a home to purchase, you can back out of that deal and you're not going to be left homeless. So that's one option. So a second option, if you happen to have a ton of equity in your house, or maybe you own it completely outright, well then an option is using your current house's equity to purchase your next house. You can do that with a HELOC. You could do that through, if your house is completely paid off, you could use a HELOC, or you could probably qualify for a mortgage to go ahead and buy your next house without having to sell your current house first. So that would be unlocking that equity. So especially if you're trying to move down, you want to live in a smaller house, so you're probably selling a higher priced house than you're buying, you can definitely utilize that equity to help in that scenario. It gets a little harder if you're trying to move up. So if you're trying to sell a lower priced house than what you're trying to buy, then it does become a little bit trickier and may or may not be an option. But you can use your current house to purchase your next house before having to sell it. Now, there are some sort of, I don't want to call them oddball, that's really a long way to say it, but there's some alternative options for people. There are these loans called bridge loans. These are short-term loans, usually anywhere from 6 months to a maximum of 18 months, that will allow you to bridge that gap. So you can take out a loan to use to purchase your next house. And then when you sell your current house, you can put that towards it. And then also go ahead and at that point, you would probably qualify for a mortgage on your next house. So you could pay off that bridge loan by taking out a mortgage on your next house. But what that allows you to do is go ahead and get the money in hand, purchase your next house, move into it, sell your house, and then go ahead and fully finance that purchase on a mortgage loan. Because again, those bridge loans are short-term loans. And because they are sort of an outside the box alternative loan, every lender has different qualifications, different loan to values they're going to get. So how much they'll let you finance, what the terms of those to be. So those can be very much different between lenders. And again, I am not the lending expert, so you would want to talk to a mortgage advisor to really get the details on what bridge loan options you might have. Another option that I just found out about from a local bank is called a purchase HELOC. So you would be able to take out a home equity line of credit on the home that you're wanting to purchase. Now again, HELOCs are a little bit easier to qualify for. The closing costs are a little bit less. So basically you would purchase that home by taking out a HELOC on it. And the understanding there is once you sell your home, you're going to pay down that HELOC as much as possible. And then you could keep that HELOC in place. You could cover it with refinancing, but it's just one of those newer options that are out there that some banks have come up with to try to help buyers in this current market. So again, it's called a purchase HELOC. And again, I am not the full authority on that. So I can put you in touch with the right person to find out information about that and see if it might be an option for you. So as you can see, there are a few different options that allow you to actually purchase a house before you have to sell your house. But again, honestly, the best option if you talk to any real estate agent is to go ahead and get your house on the market first. While it's on the market, we can be looking for that next house. And once we get it under contract, then we can go ahead and put an offer on the house that you have selected. So the market is not moving quite as fast right now as it was 2 years ago. So sellers are being more willing to negotiate and look at that because a lot of sellers are in the same position. They can't purchase a home until theirs is under contract as well. So there's kind of an understanding that we're kind of going back to normal on that and that this is just the way it has to be. So, but you don't like that option, there are some other options out there that you can pursue. So I hope that information is more helpful than just the weekly data. Again, I'm going to be answering more questions like this on these weekly videos. If you have any questions that you would like me to cover or any just real estate topics that you want me to cover, I mean, there's one that's kind of been in the news a lot lately. I'm not sure whether I want to do video on it or not, just because if anybody knows the way settlements work, is none of it's approved. So to talk about that NAR settlement when really we don't know how it's going to shake out, I feel like is a little bit premature. But any topics that you want me to cover, any questions that you want answered, please submit them in the comments below or just contact me because I want to make sure that I'm covering issues and questions that are relevant to you. So that is it for this week. We will see you next week.